Champ, why struggle? You can be like Giacomo Turra, who is accused of plagiarism. All right, just fake all your performances and playing. Just post it up online, make thousands of dollars, get sponsorships. You can just do that.
You get your own pickups.
You get your own pickups. You get everything.
Get your own fucking pickups, man. That's fucking wild.
I ran across this story just today. I was like, wow, I didn't even know this happened. Champ and I didn't even know who he was. Let me give you guys the backstory who don't know about this, because I do think this is very important to bring up. Giacomo Turra, the social media guitar sensation, known for his infectious funk licks and stylized performances, is facing serious allegations of plagiarism. YouTuber and bassist Danny Sopko has publicly accused him of copying compositions from several well-known guitarists, passing them off as his own original work. He presented his findings in a widely circulated YouTube video where he showcased side-by-side comparisons of Turra's performance and the original work of the guitarists such as Jack Gardner and Alex Hutchings. Quote, "This is one of the most unbelievable things I have ever seen in music," Sopko declared in the video, claiming that Turra not only mimicked these pieces note for note, but also failed to properly credit the original creators. By the way, he's stealing tablature too and selling that from their own training websites or from their own Patreons. According to Sopko, Turra's social media success has been built on allegedly uncredited covers, with some pieces being sold as original tabs and isolated tracks through Turra's website and Patreon. Quote, "From the very start of his social media rise, Giacomo's been using other people's compositions, passing them off as his own. While Turra has occasionally cited inspiration from certain artists, Sopko argued that such vague acknowledgments fall short of meaningful credit," which I completely agree. It's equivalent of saying you're inspired by Queen than trying to pass off Bohemian Rhapsody as your own, he said. That was pretty funny. But just this whole thing is absolutely wild. A lot of the artists are coming out and offering their commentary on there. Rick Beato just offered his commentary on there. He was going to do an interview with Rick Beato. He put that picture of the thumbnail with him on there. He did an interview, and then he decided not to put it on because his playing sucked.
Yeah. Which is wild.
That's
I've never
so
heard of
embarrassing.
That Listen, good on Rick Beato for not calling him out immediately for it, because there are a lot of people that would have gone out. This was obviously, he recorded this before the scandal broke, right? So it's like he chose not to put this video up, let him save face, right? He didn't want to embarrass this guy. It was going to be trash.
I want to see the interview, honestly. I would want to see the Rick Beato interview with this guy just to see Rick's face. I want to see Rick's face as he's playing. And I'm really shocked that he didn't post it.
His reasoning was that his channel requires a certain level of quality. And he didn't want to lower his channel's quality by putting that out there, which is super insulting in the best way. Like, I love that. Yeah, it's so passive aggressively insulting, and it's such a great way to just like shit all over this guy without actually saying anything as an insult intentionally. But yeah, dude, he straight up said that this guy was gonna make his channel look bad if he put him on there. So yeah, beast mode right there.
Shout out to all the companies that are removing him. They're taking off the videos. He noted about Fender just unlisting it, which is hilarious because you can still see the video if it's unlisted. Fender's still cashing in on the money.
Yeah, Fender is basically the Amazon of guitars, right? So I don't know how much they care about stuff like that.
He did a follow-up video about him, just showing off more copies that he did. The most troubling aspect, Sopko insists, is the potential financial gain Turra may have made through these alleged misattributions. The real crime is that these were for sale as Giacomo's original transcriptions, which is beyond fucked up. Pointing out that affected artists like Gardner and Hutchings rely on selling their own music scores. Alex Hutchings addressed the situation on his own video, saying he first noticed his use of his work about 8 months ago. "I just happened to come across it," Hutchings said. "At first I thought he was just inspired by me, but then I looked closer. It felt like it had the nuances of what I do." Hutchings since confirmed that Turra did tag him, but the credit was buried deep in the video description. Quote, "Everyone just assumed it was you playing," unquote, Hutchings said, describing it as a kick in the teeth. Quote, "I don't really wish any harm on the guy," Hutchings added. "Hopefully he can learn and grow as a man." That's a really high road to take. There was another person that also mentioned that they stopped playing and didn't put out any videos. They had a very low subscriber count and very low amount of views, and they saw that he took his video, and then they were just so depressed that they just didn't put out anything anymore, which is really sad. It's very fucked up. Because he's just taking unknown people and just taking their videos, which this is nothing new. This happens with other spaces also, but this has been the biggest case of where people are actually fighting back. normally people just like whatever and let it slide. Like this, the musicians are actually fighting for it, which they should be, because musicians don't get paid at all that well. Even when we put up videos online, none of them get paid. So they really rely on the Patreon and rely on like donations and things like that to keep it afloat.
The idea of writing something and then finding your small fan base, right, and selling the tabs for that or whatever. I personally probably would never buy somebody's tabs, but this is how they're making their money. These little sources of income as small-time musicians.
Yep.
So to have somebody else take those tabs that you created, that you wrote, that came from your brain, and then sell them and make thousands of dollars off them, and you don't get to see a cent out of that. It's insane. And we've had the copyright conversations over and over again, and how strict they are on YouTube and stuff like that, and how obnoxious it can be trying to get through that. But this is a situation where this stuff should be monitored even more heavily. He shouldn't be able to take people's stuff off of a channel that they have and sell it for his own gain. Now, I do want to say, I went back in time and watched a little bit of his first Sapco video where he puts everything side by side. All of the original writings and performances of these tracks, and then Turra playing them. And identical. Like, we're talking about like 15 to 20 seconds straight of solos that have no changes whatsoever. And then on top of that, he's not recording it live. The main feature here is obviously that he was stealing, but there is an aspect of this where he's telling people that he's this great guitarist and he's making money off of it. Then he goes on Rick Beato and he can't play the guitar. And you find out that all of his videos were pre-recorded. So you don't know if he ever played. That could have been anybody recording behind the scenes for him, for all we know.
How bad was he when he played for Rick Beato? That's what and to have the balls, or he must have tricked his mind into thinking he was good to actually go on that show, because I would be embarrassed as fuck, but obviously I take pride in playing and learning. Just the fact that he went on Rick Beato, like, that's, wow, it takes some balls just to go on Rick Beato and just like flub that.
I agree. That's wild to me. If you know that you're not good enough to be doing this, why would you go to a huge YouTuber that actually studies this kind of thing and let him see it? Yeah,
I would never do that. Maybe he doesn't know who Rick Beato was. Maybe he just saw 4 million plus subscribers. This is a great opportunity. But anyone that knows Rick Beato, he's going to tear you apart if you're not doing anything musically correct.
Maybe he thought Rick Beato did the same thing that he was doing, where they do pre-recorded sessions and then they layer it on top later. And he was expecting to not be exposed alive like he was.
And then he released an apology video, which you watched all of us. I want to get your take on it.
Just
a quick summary on this. So Turra admitted that his crediting may not have been clear enough. That's an understatement. Quote, "There must have been something wrong in crediting these artists," he said, unquote. Quote, "I really want to apologize to the guitar community for this behavior." So I was like, those quotes themselves are just ridiculous. But you watched the video. I'm curious your thought on that.
I did.
Because he didn't even apologize for stealing tablature.
He didn't really apologize at all. It was a non-apology apology. It was one of those fucking YouTube apologies that you saw in 2013 when somebody would be like, "I'm sorry if you were offended that I molested this person," or some shit. What he said was that he might have, and it was very much like a might have, may have, I might have made the mistake of burying the credits too low. The problem was...
He did that, right? In case he gets sued.
Yeah, he did it intentionally, because if you go further into it, he talks about his responses to comments that people would post. And they would say, "Great arrangement. You did a really good job putting this arrangement together." And he would be like, "Thank you. I appreciate it," without saying, "It's not my arrangement." He was obviously trying his very best to make it seem like he wrote these pieces, regardless of if there was a little mention of the credit buried in his 1,000-word description somewhere. I did go back and I looked for it, and he's definitely moved some of them, at least in the descriptions, to be the credit is higher. It's clear, like, no matter how much he wants to like justify it on a technical sense, yes, I did credit them. It was clear that he was doing his best to manipulate the situation to try to make it seem like he was the one creating this stuff.
I feel if you got famous on Instagram, right? Just like Danny mentions this in his video, he got famous on Instagram. Why is the apology video not on Instagram? And right now, I can't even find his YouTube apology video. I'm looking for it.
Oh no, I found it was a re-upload on a different channel that.
Oh, so he took it down. He took.
I wasn't. Yeah, it's not on there.
I was like, I don't even see this apology video. So shout out to whoever reposted that.
Yeah, listen.
Oh,
so
I found
here's
it.
What it comes down to. I don't know how much any of this matters, and that's the most depressing part about any of this. Yeah, there he is right there, Mr. Turra himself. I just don't know how much any of this matters because, as Beato says at the end of his video on this topic, there are a lot of people that are willing to just accept things as they are presented to them, as opposed to finding the truth or the justice behind any of it. And I think that people on the part where he's not playing any of his music, I don't think anybody gives a shit. I think people are fucking used to that. On the other aspect of the stealing, I'm hoping that people care more. But in 2025, I honestly do not know how many followers he will lose due to this.
I think he will lose a lot. He's going to lose a lot of viewership because I think the theft thing is where people draw the line. That's why so many people are up in arms about it. That's why so many people are so angry about this guy, because he stole it. If he was just like miming along, that's another thing. But since he stole from other musicians and then tried to sell their own tablature, their own works, I think that's why everyone is coming out and saying something about it, and it's a way bigger deal than just miming along. So I understand what you're saying. People don't care about that part, but I think the theft part is where people are drawing the line right now, because there's a lot of people going off about it online.
I hope that people will care. I just want to see somebody pay the consequences of doing something dirty like this.
I wonder. I think he could. I think if they get lawyers to sue him, they could. And that is exactly why that apology video is down, because he's admitting that he did something and that could be used against him. Yeah. Go save this video if you haven't already, his apology video. I think hopefully he saved up money, because I don't think he's getting any deals anymore, because everyone took him off. He lost all of his sponsorships, it looks like.
If that's the case, then deserved, as long as what everybody said. Like, I don't want to sit here and say that we know this guy or any of the people that made the claims against him or anything like that. And I don't want to sit here and be like, I hope this guy's life gets ruined. But at the same time, we do need to make sure that people don't steal copyright.
No. You stole. Your fucking life there should be consequences. I'm not saying it should be totally ruined, but you fucking need to pay for it. Fuck that. Drag them through the mud. I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh, I don't want anything bad. I'm like, no, fuck that. Bankrupt this guy. Take his money. I'm not saying physically harm or anything. Go take him to court, make him waste all of that money here, or take it away and give it to the other artists. I hope he pays for it.
I suppose my only hesitancy with that is just that I don't know how much of the issue was actually... Okay, so let's just say that he was crediting these artists, but he was hiding the credits inside his description. There's a line there, right? Where at some point, the credit is high enough that you say, okay, we accept that. At another point, it's so hidden that you say that was a dirty move. And there is a line. And because we didn't see where that was originally, I'm a little hesitant to say, like, how much he was manipulating the system exactly. You know what I mean? And that's the only reason I'm saying I don't necessarily want to ruin this guy's life.
Ruin it. Go for it. Fucking ruin his life. Take him down. Get rid of him out of here.
Yeah, the selling of the tabs is like really the biggest part, where if he was actually doing that, if he really legitimately was selling other people's writing as his own, like in tablature form, that is such a dirty move that, like, yeah, at that point, sorry, dude, but you deserve to go bankrupt.
Yeah. Fucking take all of his money. Take it all. You don't get any of it.
Give it to us. We'll take a fucking pickup ourselves.
Yeah. Can we get a pickup sponsorship? Please. All we do is play other people's music on the channel and stuff. We're not actually trying to play it or anything, because we can't.
Yeah, exactly. Right.